Hey, brother.
What's going on?
How are you, man? So good to have you here and me here with you. But guys, welcome to the R.A.D podcast. Real, authentic dads talking about real shit that affects us and everyone in their everyday lives, right? So this is episode 1, Own Your Story. But this podcast is brought to you by the Mobile Barbershop Depot. And we're actually in the actual mobile barber shop.
This is where it is.
Joey, this thing is absolutely legit, right?
Fresh fades.
He takes this thing around to like events and cuts hair. It's like
Legend.
So awesome. So this is our first podcast of many to come. We're super excited for you guys to join us. You can tune into our YouTube channel or subscribe down below to the R.A.D podcast. We are Eric Machado. I'm Hugh Simson, and we are both dads, entrepreneurs, business people. We're super into personal and self-development, and we want to improve our lives, right? And live with unlimited potential. So each week we'll be bringing to you an inspiring message or topic, or we'll be interviewing someone to help you start living a full life of unlimited potential, right?
No boundaries. Want to get everybody out of their skin. Tell them a little bit about our stories and where we've come from, and interview some cool people along the way, and see where it all goes.
Yeah, so we're super excited to have you here, guys, for episode 1 of the R.A.D podcast. So before we get going, we're just going to tell you a little bit about our stories and what's brought us here and why we're doing this podcast. So Eric, just tell me a little bit about yourself, mate, your background.
Yeah, so glad to be here on the Gold Coast. Originally from Canada. Been here now about 12 years. So came here when I was 23 with my missus, who's Canadian as well. She basically made the decision to finish her master's and come to university here for about a year and a half. And that was 12 years ago. And, we've had 2 wonderful kids since then as well. And are Canadian and Australian citizens, which is pretty cool,
But you travelled here, you followed your girlfriend at the time, and now your wife, right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. So the story is, basically, I always joke around about it. I ended up coming here chasing her, and then we ended up staying here because of me. Which is pretty interesting. But yeah, we had to make a conscious decision. We were kind of not high school sweethearts, but the term kind of makes sense because we didn't actually go to the same high school together. But we met when we were about 13, 14 years old. Really liked each other at the time, but how young are you at the time? You don't know what love is at that age. So we went our separate ways, but always kept in contact, and we're on and off for many, many years. And then we were 23 years old at the time. And we ended up getting back together. But at that time, she already made the decision she was coming to Australia to finish her uni. So I had to make a decision. And it was a very difficult decision because, I was in love with her, but at the same time, I had everything at home, family, friends. I had a half-decent job there at the time, and I had to make a conscious decision to come to Australia. And I went with my gut, and we came here, but I had to overcome a lot of anxious feelings at the time to come
just
here.
Just picked up and just moved here, no family, anything.
No family,
amazing,
no nothing.
Right?
Looked at Surface Paradise. That's where we landed. Roamed the streets for 3 days looking for rentals.
Knew no one.
Knew nobody.
Never been here.
Knew nobody.
Oh, wow.
And we're talking about Gold Coast, Australia, guys, just so anyone that's not aware where we're located. But we knew nobody. Literally nobody. So within 3 days, we got a rental property, and I was like, I'm just going to live the surfer's dream, sell t-shirts on the beach, just chill while she goes to uni. And that lasted for about a week.
Did you have any money before you came?
No money. Like zero money. Yeah. We saved up about $3,000.
Wow.
Which helped out with bond at the time.
And that's it.
And that's it. Yeah. Literally, I had to.
So, would you get desperate? What was your first job?
Yeah, I got. Basically, I was looking online. That time, Seek wasn't massive. I was looking in the back of the newspaper, the bulletin, And basically, I went to a fair few different interviews. And my background was in the flooring industry and sales.
Yeah.
So
sales.
Yeah, always been in sales. Yeah, very passionate about sales. And flooring was in the family business. So I ended up getting a job as a manager at the Harvey Norman Center in Bundle.
First job off the boat.
Well, first job off the boat. I ended up getting the job, and something wasn't sitting well with me. And I thought, you know what? I kept telling Jen, who's my partner, I want to try something different. This is going to be safe, and I don't want to be doing this for the next 10 years of my life.
Yeah.
So I called the manager there at the time back and said, listen, I'm not taking the job. And they were pissed. Like, literally pissed.
So you accepted the job.
Accepted the job 2 days before I was supposed to start. I said no to the job. And that brought me down a different path. And then I ended up getting a job in a glass business in sales. So basically doing shower screens, mirrors, wardrobe internals. Totally new. Knew nothing about it. Thrown in the deep end. And they basically said, listen, we will put you on a salary, and once you basically plus a commission, and once you make once the commission supersedes the salary, you will then be on straight commission.
Yeah.
But you need to supply your own mobile phone. You need to supply your own vehicle. And then I negotiated with them and said that's fine, but is there an option to get sponsored to stay in the country?
For a visa, yeah.
For a visa, because I was just on a working holiday visa.
Yeah.
You couldn't work for someone more than 6 months. There was a lot of rules and regulations. There still is. It was a lot easier back then. And then basically started. But I didn't have a car. So I had to call back home and rearrange a few things and get a loan for a $10,000 white Ford Falcon. And,
wow.
There's no Ford Falcons in Canada, man. So, I didn't realize I was part of,
Are you guys driving on the other side of the road, like America?
Yeah.
So you're
driving opposite. There was one time I actually drove onto an off-ramp. Literally, true story, Jen was with me. So it was interesting. But
so you came over here from Canada, no real tertiary education.
No.
Salesman, followed here for love to Australia, landed here, had $3,000 in the bank for bond.
Yeah. Basically a bit for bond, a bit for rent.
You joined your sales experience. That's what you knew, hey? Your sales?
Correct, sales. So straight away I got the job and I was on a salary. So I knew that there was weekly income coming in straight away.
Did you get sponsored? So that's where...
Yeah, so eventually I got sponsored.
Yeah.
And Jen's visa, her student visa ran out and I got sponsored. So then I sponsored her as a de facto. So we were on that sponsorship for quite some time.
And Jen was studying.
And Jen was still studying, and then she stopped studying, and then she started supply teaching.
Yeah.
So she had a job, I had a job. We were living in surfer's paradise, living the dream.
Yeah.
We were at the beach every weekend with other friends from Canada that we met that were in the Jen's schooling program.
Yes.
And it was just weekends of, having drinks on the beach, playing bocce ball, getting tanned up, like just unbelievable. No kids at the time.
Yeah.
So we just,
So how old were you when you moved here?
23.
And how old are you now?
35.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, 35. Yeah.
So that's what a story, because everyone's got crazy stories like that, how they started, but I never realised that with you, that you just came over here with nothing, no real plan.
Yeah, so I came from a very blue-collar family.
Yeah.
Not a lot of money. Always got what we needed growing up.
Yeah.
Parents were amazing, but never surrounded myself with successful, entrepreneurial, people that were personal development. Where we came from is a very blue collar town. Yeah. A lot of factory jobs, a lot of construction work, and it's amazing that once you surround yourself with that, most likely that's what you're going to do. But
in relation to what you're saying, now surrounding yourself with that's only happened over the last few years, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I was still, when I first came here, like I said, I still had a job.
Yeah,
I was working for that company, but then I started contracting. So once I got sponsored, I said, "Listen, guys, I don't want a full-time wage.
Yeah,
I just want a straight commission.
Straight commission because
earn more money.
And you backed yourself, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Self-belief.
Yeah. It's scary. Like everyone that says, I've got my salary to go on a straight commission. Everyone I've talked to, it's scary.
Balls,
first,
right?
That first plunge, you're taking a plunge. There's no backing anymore. It's all on you. But I knew I could do it, and that was a success for me. Actually, I did really, really well. I earned really good money at the time. I was just amazed at the opportunities that were coming to me at the time.
And then as a result of that,
yeah,
it's enabled you to do what you're doing now.
Correct.
Create massive success, right?
Yeah, I'm big on managing money and investing money, not just spending money. Like still to this day, I'm driving, a Volkswagen Golf, which Hugh and I
laugh about it. This guy could get pretty much whatever he wanted, but he's chosen that.
Yeah. And it's not because, I love cars and stuff like that. And to be honest with you, I'm actually looking for something new at the moment. But, and we're going to be going into some of these questions, about, being judged and what it feels like and all these things. But I'm very confident in my own skin at the moment. But it's taken 12 years to get there. And personal development and surrounding myself with good people. He was one of those guys. Same thing that, just keep stepping it up all the time. And that's what you need to surround yourself with. So I'm a big believer in that.
Yeah. So was there a time, I don't know, when you moved here from Australia, right? Like, was that desperation that created that? Or was it just, I just got to start working? Was there like a moment when you moved here, you're like fuck, what have I done? Or you made the wrong decision?
There was never a hesitation. There was hesitation of coming here at the time because I was in a safe zone.
Yeah.
I had a job, had a car.
Yeah.
I was still living at home at the time. I'm from a European culture background, so
Portuguese,
and you know what? If I wasn't married, I'd probably still be living at home, and my mom would be cooking for me, and she'd be doing my laundry, and that's just the way it is.
If you guys can hear some music actually in the background, we'll show you some footage of it later. There's a sick barber shop here. It's a warehouse, but anyway, I digress. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah. So, but definitely took me out of the comfort zone. But when I was here, there was just something about the Gold Coast. I don't know if it was the sunshine or the sand, or it was just opportunity for me. Like, it was just literally opportunity.
But if you seek it, right, it's like that, what Tony Robbins talks about it all the time, is that reticular activated system.
Correct.
Like, if you're not looking for opportunity, if you just came here and it's like, oh, whatever, I'll just go through the motions, call back home for some money, get loans and credit cards. But if like the reticular activated system is, that's where, like, if you're thinking about opportunities, take for example, if you're going to buy a yellow Volkswagen Beetle, you never see them around, right?
Correct.
But as soon as you start putting that seed in your head that you're going to buy one, you see them everywhere.
You see them everywhere.
So when you were saying, I want opportunity, the opportunity came from sales, looking for jobs, you saw opportunities, right?
The white Ford Falcons were running rampant at that time. I seen them everywhere,
Never seen them before. Driving one.
And then, and then I had a little red Honda Civic. That was the best car to date.
Yeah.
That I had. It was hilarious. But I was running around the countryside because at the time, in the shower screen industry, what we used to do is you used to sell, but you used to have to measure the jobs as well. So you'd go to the houses or the high-rise developments, measure everything. So I'd be running around the countryside. I'd be going to Sunshine Coast, North Brisbane, Ipswich, down northern New South Wales, just hustling.
Proper sales, Like leads, or were you just knocking on doors?
No, knocking on doors. Like my first leads were from literally the Yellow Pages. That's how I started. Yeah. I remember being at the table, staying at Sun City at the time, and just opening it up from, going to the builder section and just cold calling. Again, I knew nobody, and they didn't give you leads, so it was just basically,
How many cold calls will you do a day?
Oh, man, honestly, I wouldn't say hundreds because, I'm going to be honest here, but at least, 30, 40 to 50 calls, I'd say. And then what we would do, I remember Jen and I, when she'd come home from school, would hop in the car, and we'd drive through the Gold Coast, through the Duck Streets, Mermaid Beach, Broad Beach, all over, looking for houses that are being built or units that are being built. So we'd look at scaffolding, we'd pull up beside it, and I'd read off the sign, the builder sign, right? All the information, and Jen would write it down, and that's a lead for me to then call the next day or that next week and put it in my own kind of CRM system, which was an Excel spreadsheet.
Hey, that's epic, right?
And then I used my accent at the time, which was a lot stronger.
He said accent there.
Accent, yeah, which was a lot stronger at the time to create discussion. And that's why a lot of people say, oh, wow, you still have an accent. I try to keep it.
I'm Eric from Canada, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Go around the roundabout.
I eat poutine, the roundabout, out and about.
That's epic.
So, yeah.
So, did you read any sales books that give you tips on how to do that, or was it something internal?
The one book that I read was Rich Dad Poor Dad back in the day, and that really changed. That was still in Canada, and that really changed the way I thought. And that led me buying my first property, just a little rental property that did okay out of. But that's the one book that I read that really changed me. So, like, I didn't have any sales training. I did marketing in college for 3 years. I had a diploma in marketing, but I mean,
what made you open the phone book? Like,
yeah, just basically
and just start cold calling out of that. That's
old back then. Yeah, there wasn't
right?
like this is 12 years ago. Like we're thinking Google now. Like Google 12 years ago. A lot of people didn't have websites 12 years ago.
The road maps, and then you have to go to page number 400, and you're like,
that's what I did. That was called the Reticular. Right? So there's no GPS at that time. So I used to open the Reticular and go, okay, where am I going? I'm going to Redcliffe. All right, Smith Street, Redcliffe. All right, A13, page 36. And there I am driving,
amazing,
and rolling up. So,
and then
I loved it though.
So what's that created for you, right? That's created
a lot of confidence to me. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people need confidence. They don't back themselves. You have to back yourself, and it's difficult. I mean, it's difficult. It's not an easy thing just to say, okay, I'm going to go quit my job and I'm going to start something new. Especially at that time, we didn't have family, we didn't have kids, we didn't have a lot of big responsibilities. We had rent to pay. Yeah. And at that time, we weren't into organic food. And, we were eating fairly healthy to what we thought was healthy. But now, everything's organic. You go to the organic food, but it all costs more. You know what I mean? Now, so times have changed. Times have changed. In 12 years, I still can't believe how much times have changed. And, like right now, we thought 2 weeks ago, we want to get our message out to the world. We want to help people. We're inspired to do this. We want to create value in people's lives. And here we are today.
This all came from a conversation.
Anyone in the world.
Exactly, right?
Which is like 12 years ago, I was in a red Honda Civic looking at a Reticular trying to get to point A.
And now you're doing some amazing things, mate. Like I think what really drew us to have the friendship we have today, right, is that you have conversations at kids' birthday parties. So our kids go to, they went to kindy together, we lived in the same area together, and then you are immediately drawn to a certain individual in life and you start having conversations. And your story really resonated with me, mate. And I think it's pretty powerful. It's powerful for people, our listeners, to listen to something like this. Eric's grew up in Canada, had no stereotypical education, right? So couldn't come here and just be an accountant or a lawyer or fucking something. Correct. Came here because it followed a girl for love.
Yeah, followed a girl for love and
arrived.
To be honest with you, when people think
that's cool,
I have a story. Like to me, life is a story. Yeah,
you got to own it.
It's a journey, and you got to own it. And
our topic today.
Yeah, and a lot of people, were saying to me in the past, friends and family, like, you have a great story, and I'm like, what is my story? Like, what do you mean my story? And then I really thought of the story. It's a pretty cool story. And there's much more to the story. Like, we could sit here for hours.
And we will touch on it.
Over the podcast, we'll get more information out and stuff like that.
But now, so where you are now, so that's where you began. Fast forward to 2019. Like, you're doing some fucking amazing shit, right?
2019.
You're investing in startups.
You have ownership in multiple businesses. Yeah, have invested in startups that have come to fruition and are doing very well. Love property development. We're just finishing one at the moment. Love real estate from Machado and Port. I think real estate's a great vehicle for grow your wealth
and then
safety.
You're right into personal development as well.
Yeah.
So I've recently done some personal development seminars.
Yes.
Absolutely love them. You had done them a few years before me, and how did you get? How did you get into the personal development?
I'm trying to think now.
Was it through someone you met, or was it? We know some mutual friends who are now mutual friends, but you knew them years ago.
Yeah. So just trying to think. To be honest with you, I can't forget now exactly how I got into those first personal development seminars. I was reading books at the time, but again, I probably read maybe 10 to 15 books in my life. So I haven't been here, reading books one a week. Like I hear some people and the amount of books that people have read. And it's very inspiring to me to sit there and know that, people could read a book a week or a book every 2 weeks. It's just unbelievable. With me, it takes me a little bit more time to read books. Sometimes I'll read 10 pages and then forget what I just read. That's just me sometimes.
I've got tips to help you with that too, mate. I'll be talking about this later.
My brain just is nonstop. I'm thinking about 20 things at the same time, but I'm working on that as well through personal development, through meditation. Yeah. and things like that. But yeah, I mean, I haven't done any Tony Robbins stuff. I haven't done any massive amounts. I've done a bit of business coaching, which I really liked at the time, which helped me just with more strategy and systems.
Yeah.
But I'm a big believer in people, and there's ideas and there's people, and I pick people over the ideas. And I think that's why anything that I've invested in or done joint ventures with and stuff like that, to this day have been a success.
And you're surrounding yourself with
good people as well, and unfortunately over time, there's a great saying, a friend of mine, Adam, says all the time, unfortunately sometimes you got to break eggs, and that means, restricting yourself from certain people, and adding, certain people in your life. And I think we're at the point in our lives now where we can be strategic on who we want to surround ourselves with, and who we call friends. Whereas when you're young, you want to be friends with everybody. It's like a popularity contest. And I think there's a little bit of that still today with Instagram and Facebook. And everyone's about followers. Oh, I got 10 million followers.
Yeah.
But no one's being that authentic. I don't think.
There's a quote by Kurt Cobain once that I read, and it went along something like, he was sick and tired of trying to be someone else that he's not to maintain friendships.
Yeah. But how many people?
It's pretty profound, right?
But have you done that?
All the time. I still do it today.
Same. Do you know what I mean? And
it's human nature.
And I think to myself sometimes,
and your kids do it, you go why are you being nice to that? Why do you have to be friends with that?
And that's the next thing now is raising your children, right? Which is a whole other topic we'll be touching base on in the future as well.
So the dads with both got 2 girls.
That's right. Yeah. So there's a lot of life experience here. It's not just entrepreneurship, or it's not just about wealth, or it's not just about raising children, or it's not just we both have kids, we both married, we both we've got life experience.
And we're talking about all that stuff in all these upcoming podcasts, and what we're trying to do, and what we are doing is just adding so much value to people's lives who are us, have been us, are going to be us. I think that's super powerful, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree. Mate, that's awesome.
How cool is it?
Yeah.
So, what about you? Huh? What about you?
What about
you? Tell me. You tell the audience.
Well, a lot of you or some of you may or may not know about me or my story. I have shared it before.
Yeah. Just so you're aware, I got about 128 followers on my Instagram, so I'm pretty proud of that.
So what's your handle?
It's been growing by about 2 or 3 a year maybe. But it's private. But I think I'm going to open it up because I'm pretty passionate about getting the word out there. But Hugh definitely has been in the limelight a lot more than me. And I'll let him explain that.
I don't think so. I think I'm really following my passion at the moment. I think this podcast certainly falls into where I want to be living my life. Just helping people, right? Living in service. I think that's the key with anything you do. I think not coming from a place of service, coming from a place of self in relation to business and helping people is certainly something that people should look at changing.
Yes.
But mate, in relation to me, where do I even begin? We grew up, lived in Melbourne, grew up there until I was 7, so I was born in 79. I turned 40 this year, what the fuck?
How good is that?
40 years old.
That was a hell of a party.
Hell of a party, mate. Talk about that another time. But this year has been the craziest year of my life. There's a lot of stuff going on personally, but I'm super excited for my future. But what has brought me to this spot, right, again, is my story. I grew up, lived in Melbourne. My mum's Filipino, so I'm half Asian. I never used to be proud of it, right? But I'm super proud of it. I tell people all the time because back in the 80s and 90s, having a mixed relationship or a mixed marriage was not usual. It was not normal, right? So I grew up with an Asian mum. I was half Asian, half Filipino, right? And growing up, going through school, I used to get picked on and bullied a lot. and pretty racial type of shit now. Like, I think reflecting back on that, if you said that in today's day and age, at school as a school kid, you'll certainly get in a lot of trouble. But, that sort of, made me have sort of thick skin, I think. And as a result of that, Dad got me into boxing lessons when I was 5 years old. And I certainly used some of those skills through school, which was really awesome. And then in 1986, Dad, dropped everything in relation to all these businesses and stuff, and picked up the family and relocated to the Gold Coast because my mum had some family up here. And that's the story. Actually, I'd love to interview my dad about that, mate, because, same story as you, just picked the family up on a promise to come up to the Gold Coast to work in a family business. The promise fell through, it never eventuated. So my dad had to humble himself and start just picking up whatever work he could get. Just to get it done. Raised us, became quite really hard working. We're never the wealthiest family anyway. It was certainly worked hard, and Dad's philosophy always was, I'm going to work really hard for my kids to send them and give them the best education. Yep. He sent us to the best schools. We got,
So tell me a little bit, touch base on that a little bit more. Like, obviously, use it as a solicitor background and touch base on that as well. But so, like, we were raised in again, a very blue collar family, and the whole private schooling thing and university, it was there, but it wasn't pushed on us. There wasn't anyone in my family that went to college or university, and I think other than one of my uncles, but I was the first one that went to college. But I know that here, coming on the Gold Coast, you got a lot of schools. You got TSS and Bond University, and private all boys school, private all girls school. So touch base a little bit on that in regards to how you were raised or influenced to your education.
So, my dad, my grandfather, he passed away when Dad was like 1. So Dad never grew up with a father. Dad's father was, my grandfather was very successful in life. He was one of the general manager of General Motors Holden back in the day. Super good at sports. I had all these Victorian championships in like boxing, swimming, clay pigeon shooting. So he was legit, right?
Clay pigeon shooting.
Yeah.
Do they still do that?
Not anymore. Wow. But back in the day, we had the Mona fruit lineage as well. Like the Simson started a Mona fruit, bought out by SBC. So we had that lineage. But when Dad's father died, Dad had nothing. Grew up by himself. His mum, my nanny, raised him in this single mum family with all his brothers and sisters were like 10 years older than him. So Dad just grew up without a father. So Dad's reasoning behind just working hard and sending us to the best schools is like any parent, right? You want to send your kids, give your kids everything that you didn't have. And I think we'll talk about it later on. I think that's going to be a problem for our generations, is spoiling our kids too much. And I'm involved with it as well. So he wanted to work hard. He's asked us to send my sister and I to the best schools, went to the best school in Melbourne, went to the best school here, which then enabled us to have that education, to then get into the best unis, to get the best degrees, to get the best jobs, and it's just this fucking vicious cycle, right? Looking back on it now, I'm super grateful for it, but now I've got a different view on all of that. So where that's led me, it's led me here today. So I went to this school. I was a decent at athletics. I was a very competitive swimmer. At school, my dad was a swimming coach, right? And I had no other choice but to be a good swimmer. So I thought I was going to be an Olympic swimmer.
Did you want to be an Olympic swimmer?
No, but I thought I was going to be.
Yeah, and that's the thing sometimes, isn't it? You think you're doing the right thing, but really you're not doing what you're deeply passionate about.
I just wanted to go and have fun with my friends, right, at school. I didn't want to swim train. I didn't want to wake up at 4 a.m. and swim. I didn't want to get home from school and fucking swim. I wanted to hang out with my mates.
And I had a similar. I was a pretty competitive hockey player, ice hockey player at the time as well, and I was doing really well with it. Then it came to a point in time where it was like, you either keep going with it and take it to the next level, or you don't. And
it's like a fork in the road too, right?
Yeah, big fork.
Yeah. So did that out of school. Thought I was going to be a competitive swimmer. I found going out and partying. More fun. Yeah. Because when you're a swimmer, you don't earn any money. You need to work.
Yeah.
I got a job in a nightclub.
Tough life.
So I started working in a nightclub. I then I then met this lady who I became really friends with. She had a really cool clothing store at the time. She then, I loved fashion. I then started my own clothing business. I was at uni making my own clothes. I had a husband and wife that at the back of this place, in the local area that we lived, that I bought the fabric.
Yep.
I got a pattern made of a shirt I liked. They cut the fabric and sewed these T-shirts. I would take these T-shirts home and screen print physically in mum and dad's laundry the prints on the T-shirts.
So this lady inspired you to do that?
Inspired me to do that.
And what did you print on the T-shirts? What was the brand?
So just to go back a little bit, if I had not quit swimming, worked in this nightclub, met this lady, I would have not had my first business.
And that's how it is.
And that's how it is.
Who you surround yourself with.
So I met her, so my label was called Hugh Jr., which I am Hugh Jr., so my dad is Hugh Sr. He named me after him. If I ever have a son one day, I don't think I'd have any more kids, but he'd be Hugh the Third.
Yes. I love it.
But, I started my first business, and very much like you, I was like, I don't fucking know anything about clothes, but I got it. I stocked it in her shop. And I go, well, what else do I need to do? And she goes, well, you need to go and sell it in other stores.
Yeah.
So I had some designs made up. I printed more shirts, some singlet shirts, and I had this suitcase, put all these, got them manufactured samples, put them all in a suitcase, flew down to Sydney and Melbourne, went to really cool shops at the time and said, hey, I'm Hugh from the Gold Coast. This is my stuff. Do you want to stock it and buy it? No, yep. No, yep. No, yep. I remember I got my first massive order for T-shirts from this one, so $15,000. I was fucking 20.
What did you do at the time when you got that order?
I can't even fucking remember. I just fucking went ballistic, Like it was just the craziest thing to do.
Unreal.
But
20 years ago.
20. So it would have been like 100 odd T-shirts. 15. And I was screen printing all these T-shirts to get it to this place on time.
That's unbelievable.
And I was up to like 3 a.m. screen printing T-shirts, mate, and making the swing tags and shit. Anyway, that led to another stage of my life. So finished university to Griffith Uni, got a Bachelor of Law, Bachelor of Business degree, 5 years, finished in 1997. So 5-year degree.
Well done.
So I had my clothing business, had my T-shirts.
Yes, business, yeah.
Then that led me to opening up a clothing retail store.
And whereabouts was that?
So I was in Surfers Paradise. So
cool.
So this lady had she had a number of the best clothing retail stores around. She was opening up a men's only real boutique, and she actually came to me and she said, do you want to name it for us? And I came up with a name.
What was the name?
It's at the time it's called Toy. T-O-Y, T.O.Y, Toy. I just came up with like DPO, GPO.
I actually remember the store. I used to shop at one every so often when I could afford it.
Yeah. Selling all the cool shit,
right? Under Chevron. Yeah.
And then borrowed some money off some money off mum and dad. Became my shop. And then I was out of uni. I was just working in this fucking store.
Making money.
The first day I was there, I was like, how the fuck am I going to sell clothes? Like, what am I going to do? I had some training, with the point of sale system, and I stood behind the desk and I'm like, this is real.
Men's mainly or men and women?
Men and women.
Okay.
But before that, at school, my first job was in Amart All Sports as a sales guy. So I was in sales. And I was a casual salesman of the year, and I was 16 years old for all their 15 stores.
So you had experience
of selling, but I hadn't done sales since I was 16 till I was 21 or something.
It's like riding a bike.
The first 6 months was, I got into it, I really enjoyed it. And then opened up another shop, massive store, invited a business partner in, opened up another shop on the Sunshine Coast, opened up a vintage shop before vintage was cool. And I was a proper retailer, traveling interstate to all the fashion shows. I was going overseas on buying shit, buying trips, man, I was kind of living the dream, right?
It was a pretty cool experience.
And I was 26. Not
a bad gig.
26, I upgraded my old Holden station wagon and I bought a Mercedes C180 compressor. One of my mates tells me a story.
That's the hatchback.
Yeah. But at the time, now, you see those AMG ones, the matte black, that's a C-Class, right?
Yeah, that's right.
This is that version now.
Yes.
But back then, so it was legit.
So
it was 60 grand.
Yeah. You looked the part.
And I was hopping out of this car down in Main Beach, and I walked out of it with my ripped Subies and shit like that. Who the fuck's this guy in this car? All that type of shit. I was like, I'm killing it. Upgraded that to a fucking Porsche Cayenne.
Sick.
I was like 28. I was living the dream, right? I was fucking partying, having fun, hanging out with Paris Hilton when she was in Australia.
Tough.
I was doing some crazy ass shit.
Tough.
2008, during that time too, right? So the businesses were going awesome. Had all these shop businesses were going awesome. I was making a ton of money. Not investing it, spending it, right?
So I guess that's probably, again, our stories are similar yet very different. Very different.
So I bought a house, I had like a managed fund with my bank, but like, at the time, that type of shit, but not like
living fast.
Living fast. Like live fast, die young.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And then I was living this really fast-paced life, having an absolute ball. This girl, my mum used to work in the shop from time to time. Awesome salesperson. She taught me sales, right? She comes from the sales.
I actually
background.
remember seeing your mom there.
So she used to So if I used to be partying, mum used to come in and open the shop and shit for us. That was mental. So mum could sell ice to the Eskimos. She's so good. You'd be walking out, just having a look. I just want some Havaiana thongs, and your mum's solid. You're walking out with $500 worth of clothes.
As a salesperson, you want that.
So mum, this girl walks in. She was 17 at the time. This girl walks in the shop. She's bought this watch from another competitor's store. She comes in the shop and mum goes, "What's in the bag?" She's, "I bought this watch." So mum convinces her to take this watch back for a refund, buy a watch from my shop. Then mum, being Filipino, she has got a laminated poster of me. She's torn out of the paper where I was voted the Gold Coast best dressed, 50 best dressed. I was voted the best dressed man. She's laminated this fucking thing. She's got it on the wall at the back, brings it out.
This is my
son. So mum used to tout for relationships with me.
Of course.
Fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
This is my son doing work here.
She was like the funnel.
She's the click funnel.
She was the click funnel.
You can marry her. You can marry him one day. This girl's like, "Oh, yeah, I'll work here." So mum hires her. I walk in the shop the next day. This girl's working in the shop. Who the fuck are you? What are you? "Oh, your mum hired me." I'm like, "What?"
No discussions with you.
I'm just like, "What? Mum, who is this?" Like, she was hot, right? She was young.
Yeah.
Cute. Anyway, she ends up managing my stores, becoming my buyer, engaged, married.
Wow.
She's the wife. She's the mother of my two girls.
And
Ange is Angela.
Unreal.
Obviously our lives are looking different now, and we'll talk about this later. Our lives are looking different going forward now from where that is.
And you're a fair bit older than her.
Yeah, I was like 9 years older than her, right? She's like 31 now, and I'm 40, and I look at those sliding door moments, mate. Had Mum not made that decision, again, I wouldn't be here now. We'll talk more about this. So anyway, that's what's brought me here. So became a solicitor during that time. I did my my articles through a mate's law firm in Broadbeach, became a qualified solicitor because everyone's doing it, right? Why the fuck not become a fucking lawyer? I'm a business owner.
That's the thing to do.
2008, 2009, the GFC hit. 2009. I'm committed to fucking big leases, right? I just thought the business is going to go exponentially.
Yeah.
Open up a big shop, twice as big, make twice as much money.
And I think a lot of people like that. When I look back at that time, we arrived here, it was 2007. And it was just pre kind of GFC, and it just went bananas.
Yeah.
Everyone was making money. It was nonstop.
2006, 2007,
right? It was booming everywhere. Like even here, when I arrived here, I remember the amount of construction that was happening, and that's the time I got into the glass. So that's why I was it was very easy to get clients because just everybody was building, everything was happening, everybody was making money. But then, so tell me,
but people were dropping G's in the shop on clothes.
Unbelievable,
right?
So tell me what happened. You had a successful business. It was booming, spending money.
Committed to long leases.
Committed to long leases.
Looking at opening up more shops.
Multiple shops.
Looking at opening up a big shop in Pac Fair. Looking at opening up Marina Mirage. I was looking at leases and stuff.
So it was growth.
GFC hit. What do people do? They stop buying clothes. I was blaming myself though.
Yes.
I was saying, what can I do better? I need bigger and better things. But
there's not much you can do at that time.
Buy jeans.
No, correct. The first thing they're going to stop spending money on is you know,
consumable shit.
That's
So
exactly
anyway,
right. Things that
business
they don't
started to
need.
fucking slow down, and you know, I had the benefit of hindsight. You know, I surrounded myself with some pretty intelligent people. Then they said, "Look, Hugh, you got to close this shit down, sell some off, and close shit down." And I think I was one of the first businesses on the Gold Coast, apart from some builders, obviously, but to start closing businesses down. And I was really ashamed at the time, mate, to even make this knowledge that I actually had to go bankrupt.
wow.
Lost my houses, lost my cars, lost everything, lost the house that Ange and I bought together.
So Tom, the point in
lost
time
fucking everything.
where you had it all, right? At
Mm.
the time that you thought you had it all, you're making money, things are going great. Then all of a sudden you get hit in the face by saying, listen, you got to basically almost claim bankruptcy.
I did.
Claim bankruptcy. So tell me a little bit about how your story at that time and how you were feeling.
Mate, I was really, mate, it's hard, mate. You know, I could certainly, there's moments there where I got super depressed and sad and I cried. I said, fucking, why me? Why now? Why is this happening? You know, I lost a shitload of money. I had a lot of money to, you know, my parents as well, and I was paying it off and to the bank and stuff, but lost the house that Ange and I made. So I was in a
Tough spot.
I was in a tough spot in my life, you know, and then in those moments, right, you could look at it as failure, get depressed,
Yes.
crawl in a fucking hole,
Yes.
think all these thoughts that's
Correct.
not conducive to you living. I said, you know what? Much like what you did in that moment, you arrived to Australia. What can I do to get myself out of this position?
Yes.
What skills do I have?
Yes.
Apart from sitting at home and start drinking alcohol and getting depressed.
Yeah,
What
that's right.
fucking skills do I have?
Yeah.
I'm a pretty resilient type of guy, right?
Yeah.
And I think my parenting and the getting up at 4 a.m. swimming training, I think
Yes.
all this shit led to me to become
you're a
quite
solicitor.
resilient. And a solicitor.
Jeez. Like,
And I go, okay, I'm going to go work in a law firm.
Yep.
So I got a job working in a law firm full time, and I started my life again. New chapter, learning experience. And I didn't look at that as failure. I looked at it as a life lesson.
Yes.
You know, and, you know, I started again. I couldn't afford a car. I had to borrow a car off my in-laws, a fucking red Berlingo van.
Party wagon.
A party wagon I was driving around.
The shaggin' wagon.
And I was, and I started working in the law firm as a solicitor.
Wow.
Fast forward a few years, senior associate. Fast forward even a few years more, I became invited to partnership. Hard work.
Yeah, of course.
Dedication.
Yeah. 4 a.m. swims.
4 a.m. swims, all that shit. And then became invited into partnership, and then another sliding doors moment, right? A good buddy of mine, and I'd love to talk to this guy actually, a good buddy of mine is a real estate agent. He was selling a house for a guy that was running a pretty successful motor yacht business in Australia. So
Okay.
Princess Yachts Australia,
Yes.
you know, like Princess Yachts.
And that's kind of the time that I think we met.
Yeah, when I started working
when
there.
you started working
we
there.
did,
So-
because our girls started going to kindy together,
Yes.
I think. And I actually quit work and I accepted a job at a mate's law firm.
Okay, yeah.
Two good buddies of mine had a law firm. I quit job in the current law firm to work in their law firm. They fired or got rid of 2 people to put me on. I was going to work there. An opportunity came up out of the blue to be the chief financial officer. How do you ever become a fucking chief financial officer or a chief executive officer of a business, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and unless you're fucking 50 and you're
That's a lot of ladders.
crazy set of circumstances. A buddy of mine sold a house for the group operation to the cousin of the group operations officer of this company. They asked my mate whether he knew someone with an accounting law background that's young, that could grow with his business. He immediately thought of me, put my name forward, had a couple of meetings. Had one meeting with the dealer principal.
Yep.
He then called the group operations officer. He flew up from Sydney that day to have lunch with me,
Wow.
to meet with me, offered me a job.
And just for everyone to understand, like Princess Motor Yachts is like, we're talking big yachts.
So owned by
Big boats.
owned by El Capital, which is the Louis Vuitton Moët Hennessy group.
Yeah,
Like,
so we're
legit
talking
shit.
like
Sunseat.
serious role. Like we're not talking, 10 foot, 15 foot tinnies. We're talking like 80, 90, 100 foot proper yachts, multi-million dollar yachts.
Yeah, and like this company in Australia, like they had dealerships in Sydney, Fremantle, and on the Gold Coast, and I was pretty much in charge of the financial operations of this business. Hadn't done accounting since school. Since university. And I went, you know what? I'm fucking taking this role because I can back myself, much like you backed yourself with sales.
Correct.
I'm going to back myself. Called Ange.
And the CFO, explain to the viewers what is a CFO?
So Chief Financial Officer, right? So you've got your CEO, Chief Executive Officer. They pretty much run the business. Then you've got the Chief Operations Officer. They run the operations of the business. And the Chief Financial Officer run the financial operations of the business. Okay. So I was overseeing pretty much all the finances of the business, right?
And this is a role that a lot of people are going to school for and working in multiple businesses for multiple years to understand the numbers and how a business of that size would work. And here you are, based on an opportunity, slid into this role, and all of a sudden you're a CFO of a multi-million-dollar company.
Mental. I still pitch myself to this day that that sliding door moment happened. But then go back, then I had to tell my good buddies I wasn't accepting the job to work in their law firm. And that's another story for another time. And that would have been different. For the few months we didn't talk, but we ended up building our relationship back up, and I ended up using them, referring work to them when I was working for the company we acquired our businesses. We used them to do the legal commercial legals on it. But it was just amazing. I worked there for nearly 5 years. I think it was 4 and a bit years. And then in 2016, Christmas, a few sort of things happened within that role that, I had the birth of my girls. I was born during boat show time, and I missed a lot of her birthdays, and I was traveling a lot. Sounds glamorous, flying interstate a lot. There's a lot of pressure with that role. Yeah. I transitioned actually from the CFO of the group to the general manager of sales of the group. Yeah. So from the back end, more responsibility from the back end to the front end, right? Yeah. In sales. Yeah. Yeah. So I was dealing with clients on the coalface, negotiating sales of multi-million-dollar yachts. So rather than knowing the numbers behind the yachts, I was negotiating sales about them.
Just closing deals.
Closing deals for $1 million assets, right, is pretty it's pretty cool. It's like real estate.
Meeting
a lot of influential, people. Really wealthy people.
And shakers.
And then comes a time in your life, that you decide there's more to life than just making bread.
That's right. At the end of the day, it's still a job, isn't it?
Still a job.
Still got to go and work for the man.
My parents at the time thought I was absolutely fucking mental, for resigning. People probably do.
Because but the thing is, most of the population, until now, and where a lot of people are starting to own their own businesses and online businesses and making money out of Instagram and all these things, when you're making big money at a high end role and you leave, traditional people, of course, they're going to think
it's crazy.
And that was similar to me when I had that, what I called, a job. Yes, getting paid great money, doing well, but at the end of the day, it wasn't mine. And there was a point in time where...
Yeah. Where could have you got to with that?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'd still be there making money. Yes,
you've never owned a
money
business.
to invite. You're not building anything. And there's, deep down in my heart, and obviously deep down in your heart, I wasn't what you were meant to be doing.
I looked where I could go within that business. It was privately owned by father and son, and then there was a group operations officer above me. He was going to be there for another 10 years. I'm not going to be working there for another 10 years, right? I think
you hit a ceiling.
We'll talk about breaking through ceilings, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going to be doing this for another 5 years.
Yeah. So what did you do?
Well, Ange became a health coach. She studied largest nutrition school in the world, the Institute for Integrative Nutrition.
Yes.
And she started being more healthy, cooking healthier. Started reading these really cool self-development books, and I was the biggest naysayer to all that shit, mate. I was like, what the fuck are you reading and listening to that shit for?
Why are you reading the corporate world?
Why are you listening to that those Tony Robbins and all that shit? I don't even get that. Why are you eating healthy? I just want to have a fucking steak and
Same
chips.
thing to me. I was thinking to myself at the time, people are saying, I want to go see Tony Robbins, or I want to go see this, and it costs this amount of money, and for 3 days, and I'm thinking to myself, what can you get out of that? What can you get? It's amazing. It's amazing what happens.
So, mate, and then I just found this passion for health and wellness and helping people, and I thought, and I was sitting there one day, I was like, what do I do, impart knowledge on my employees that allows me to create the success I've had in life? What are the things that have made me create success? And I thought about it, and I thought, it's my fucking routine. I wrote a book, How to Rule Your Routine. Not having any
Good book, by the way.
Rule Your Routine is good. Rule Your Routine. I wrote this book, Rule Your Routine, as a result of Ange.
Yeah.
Living this lifestyle that I wasn't accustomed to rubbed off on me.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going to write this book on Rule Your Routine. What helped me create massive success and get to where I was, all the tips and tricks. And then I wrote this book with no personal development. Now, so I'm a published author on Amazon.
Yeah. So how do you write a book?
So I studied at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition.
Yes.
Became a health coach. And at the end of that course, they had this other course, like an add-on sale, write your own dream book. I've always wanted to write a fucking book.
Cool.
Right? Everyone wants to write a book.
I want to write a book.
And I did it. I took this course, paid whatever it was, took me through this process, wrote a book, published it.
And at this time, I knew he was writing a book. I didn't ask too many questions about it. But in my head, I'm like, how do you just write a book? Like, don't you know what I mean? Don't you need to be famous to write a book? Don't you need to be like an absolute expert in something to write a book? And he's like, I'm writing a book. And I'm like, what do you mean? Are you writing a book? Are you paying someone overseas to write a book? You got a copyright it? But literally, he wrote the book.
Wrote the book, published it, had a copywriter review it, editor look at it.
Rule your routine.
Rule your routine. 7 steps. Each chapter is a routine.
And I must admit, like, this is one thing where I'm working towards. But again, we're all creatures of old habits. But like when Hughes
this is just
wrote a book,
on.
about ruling your routine. Literally, he rules his routine. Yeah. If anyone follows him on Instagram or anyone knows him, like literally, he's got a routine every morning, and he posts certain aspects of that routine, and you will see him stretching for at least 10 minutes every morning, no matter where he is. Every morning, roughly the same time, whether there's kids on top of him or not, he's doing it. Like, no excuses, which is, and these are the people I want to surround myself with. And I think, this brings again back the passion about us wanting to help, people, whether it's through health and wellness or whether it's through, business and entrepreneurship or just, life skills. And we'll be dabbling in a lot of different things and a lot of different aspects that we deal with personally.
And interviewing some fucking cool people.
Interviewing some awesome people. We got some awesome people lined up, which is very exciting, and I'm very excited about that.
That's what it's all about, mate, right? You're owning your story. Yes. I own that. I was scared to tell people about, those failures in life that I look as lessons. Yeah. Like, you might be embarrassed to tell people certain things in your story, but
this podcast, I know there's going to be times throughout these episodes where I'm going to be out of my comfort zone. Yeah. But I think when you're out of your comfort zone, is where the magic happens. Like they say, here's your comfort zone, magic happens out here. Yeah. And a good friend of mine, Adam, says that all the time. Yeah. And you know what? He's out of his comfort zone a lot. And guess what? He's one of the most successful guys I know personally. And I think once, you really need to own it, because at the end of the day, you can't be anyone else. You can think, you can think you're someone else. You can think but your main purpose is to fully be yourself, And I think a lot of the things that you read, a lot of the things that you listen to, the food that you put in your mouth, the actions that you do every day, and the people you surround yourself with are the things that change your life. You know what I mean? And make you shine in your own skin.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Like, my 3 mantras are the words that I always say is you got to live huge. Live huge, like live fucking massive every day, have massive dreams and follow that. Yeah. You got to live happy. Yeah. I think the key to life, you ask anyone, is happiness. Yeah. Do what makes you happy. If you don't like a job, fucking quit. But
I agree.
Within reason, of course. Do what makes you happy. If you're not in a relationship that not lights you up, you got to move on. Yeah. And then live healthy. Live huge, live happy, live healthy. Yeah. And I live by this 80-20 rule, right?
I like
it. It's like 80% of the time you're living awesome, 20% eating and living awesome, 20% of the time you're enjoying life.
Yeah, correct. 80% of the time you're eating greens, 20% of the time you're eating Ben and Jerry's. That's just, you know what I mean? It's all about balance.
Yeah. So look, we're so excited that we're able to be here with you guys on this journey, and I hope you subscribe. Tell your friends about this podcast, the R.A.D podcast.
I love it because I'm sitting here and I'm looking out to the actual physical barbershop outside, And everyone that's walking by,
grab the camera and
everyone that's walking by is literally.
Let's pull the charger out of the phone.
All right, so sorry about that. But basically, this is where we're sitting. That's the barbershop. So literally, they're out there doing haircuts as we speak. And everybody that's walking by is just looking in here going, like, what the hell are these two doing? I'll just show you around a little bit. How cool is this mobile barbershop?
We're actually sitting in Barber's chair. So
yeah,
Joey actually cuts hair here.
Yeah.
There's a basin, there's the mirrors.
Basically, he brings this all around, all over for weddings and functions and fundraisers.
He's been cutting my hair since school. I've known him for such a long time.
So we thought, I was getting my hair cut here last week, and so was Hugh. And I was just thinking to myself, how cool would it be, if we got to do our podcast at the barbershop?
And we're going to be actually getting our hairs cut and interviewing the owner of this establishment, which is going to be fucking epic.
So I want to say a big thank you to Joy for letting you.
Mobile Barbershop Depot. They sponsor this podcast, and they're very, very, very generous.
Yeah, the legends, and they've just been hooked up on Urban List. I seen on Instagram yesterday, which is massive. Massive achievement for them. They do venues out of this facility as well.
They hire it for weddings.
Cool. Yeah, based in Bundle on Upton Street.
Birthdays, bar mitzvahs.
Hit them up on Instagram. But again, this has been a great opportunity. And again, surround yourself with the right people, because I've been wanting to do a podcast. I've been wanting to talk to people for a long time. That's what I do. I talk too much, but that's what I love. And you know what? If it wasn't for Hugh a couple of weeks ago to say, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just do it.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, I wouldn't be doing it because I was a bit fearful of it. I don't know how to record. I don't know what to say. I'm not good enough. Look at us here, out of your comfort zone. But you know what? I love it. It's amazing.
So subscribe, download, tell your friends. Every week we're going to be bringing a new podcast to you, recorded live from the Mobile Barbershop Depot. Eric, my brother, number one. We're going to look back on this episode one day and go, yeah, boy.
Yeah, I actually told you, you know what we're going to do? We're not going to say episode 1. We're going to say, episode 792,361, joking around. But yeah, definitely episode 1. So don't judge us too much, all right? Even though we're confident, don't judge.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.